Hey everyone, my name is Ryan Pregator, if we haven't met yet, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about Foundry for developers. I've had the opportunity to play around with it over the last month or so, kind of since it came out, and I've been exploring its use in my budgeting process. Not the most exciting thing in the world, but I was curious to see what Foundry could do because I've always been frustrated kind of between the options I have. Typically, you either manage your budget in Excel and you have no way to incorporate kind of live data feeds or like any kind of regular data transaction feeds that you have, or you have a software application that you can use that covers 80, maybe 70% of what I wanted to do. The charts aren't right, or I just don't have good, like, granular control over my financial information. And so I thought, let me see if I can pull this data together and discover and find out what the Foundry platform might be able to do in helping me solve this problem. And so I had three things I wanted to do. The first one was build custom views that let me like understand and evaluate my spending each month. The second was going to be control of my budget as compared to, again, live spending. So kind of seeing those together and being able to update that accordingly. And then the last thing was going to be granular insight into the subscriptions that I pay and the way that I kind of share expenses with people. So let's go ahead and jump into the platform. I'm going to shift over here and we can start to take a look at what I've been able to do. So as we always kind of need to do in a budgeting kind of tool, we want to understand what is coming in, what is going out, how are my expenses being broken down and kind of distributed each month. And so we've got some charts here that I built, some custom views of what's going on. We also have some pretty basic filters, and I was able to kind of build out some of the charts that were specifically interesting to me, and specifically targeting one thing that I was always struggling to find, in addition to a lot of these unique filters, which was how do I see my expenditures or income against the budget I've allocated for it, and we can kind of see this at the top, and also against like what is my like average spending. Am I spending as much as I think I am? And so I was able to build out some of these views and kind of iterate through what was actually going on here. And I have this broken down for a lot of different categories. The breakdown's a really detailed version, but we can see my spending here. For example, if we look at my fun and entertainment spending, which should load up here in a second, we can see that my budget and my actually kind of monthly average spending are pretty closely aligned. But let's say I wanted to change something. Let's say I want to actually have a little more fun this next month. We're coming into Christmas. I'm going to get out there a little bit. I can actually edit this budget and click this button and pull up kind of the category and say, let me bump up my spending to $300 this next month, or $7, whatever figures we're using here, and quickly kind of like change that on the fly against real time or kind of real world financial transactions. Of course, I can kind of drill down and see the details that go into this, see some smart AI recommendations on the right hand side in case I find that useful. But this was one of the first things that was important to me in being able to manage my budget. The second was going to be like understanding the budget categories, right? Like building a static view of my budget line items, but up against the live data, right? Being able to jump back and forth between these. So for example, if we look down at fun and entertainment, I actually see that maybe I'm spending a little too much. I know Christmas is coming up. Let me pull it back for the month of November. So I can actually just right click this, pull this back down to $200, save these changes, and all the figures on this page will update. If you wanted, I could even jump back to the previous page and show you that the budget line items would update as well. But we'll see kind of like my overall view of this data update. We can see kind of the percentages, mirror it, and my overall summary of kind of how much money I'm using each month is revealed here as well, and gives me a one quick look at my available budget, what percentage I'm using. Are we getting up close against the 100% number or even higher? And just give me a one place to do all of this. Now, the last thing that I wanted to be able to do was granularly manage my subscriptions and shared expenses. And so I have a couple of pages for this. The first one's actually going to be just a review of all my subscriptions. You can see just a long list of the types of things that I pay for, and specifically, like, what is the total amount for this bill, what is the monthly amount, and then also what is my bill, which is kind of subtracting if I'm sharing that bill with someone else, how much are they paying, how much am I paying, and kind of what that breakdown is. We can also see that for some of these, it's an annual subscription. For example, we could kind of grab all 9 of these, look at the list, and say, okay, I need to probably set aside some money each month so that I don't get dinged with however much money this would cost me if it came through. And so that's actually what this total monthly hold is here, where I can see at the bottom the amount I'm setting aside each month for this kind of bill and the actual amount. So it looks like I'm actually saving a little bit too much. It kind of defaults to the current amount. I'm going to get a little risky here, put it slightly under the budget, and I believe it'll tell me, yeah, you're under budget, but I'm kind of making this decision consciously where I can see all the information and easily understand what goes into this. Now, the last piece I said, which is related to this, is that sometimes I have to split these subscriptions with people. For example, I'm sharing a phone plan or whatever it might be, and I believe that this actually filtered through to 2 pages. So let me jump back here, and I'll go ahead and save this. But we can kind of sort through and see, okay, I'm splitting my Google storage across my Gmail family, splitting Hulu with kind of a couple people involved there, and I might want to look into one of these and say, okay, what are these people actually paying for? And now I actually have a really granular understanding of a Verizon bill, which might be a tedious thing to know, but as you can imagine, a fee goes up here, a bill goes down there. Why did that happen? Is it because Verizon, reduce the amount of money I get as a discount, or is it because like New York City is charging me more for their public safety surcharge, right? Like, where are my bills coming from? Where is this inputting and ideally this is kind of actually coming in from like PDFs, and I haven't done this yet, but I'm planning to parse those out with the kind of Foundry AIP tools so that I don't even have to manually enter these or kind of keep up with it, and I can just pass those in. So again, a lot of this is manual, some of this isn't sexy, but I found it really valuable, and kind of the last piece of this is being able to help anybody understand like the breakdown of their bills. So we can see, for example, for Chandler and Monica, they have a lot of different kind of line items here, and we can see this is pre-discount just in case there's anything unavailable. If we wanted to, we could generate a report. I actually know that I already have one built, so I'm going to go ahead and open that up for you. And this is designed for partly me, but also for the people that I'm sending a Venmo request to every month to help them say, okay, I know what I'm paying for, and then we can have a conversation if they still want to pay for it, or if they want to be included in more things. And this kind of just gives them that single overview. This can be sent to a PDF and kind of shipped out to them if somebody's interested in understanding their bills. So that is, the few-minute version of Foundry for developers and how I've decided to use it. Please let me know if you have any questions. I've really enjoyed this process, and I have a lot of grand ideas. I think I have a budget tracking checklist down here on the left that I refer to often so that I can look at all the new things that I'm trying to do. But I've really enjoyed this process, found it super valuable to customize the views that I have, manage my subscriptions and shared expenses, and ultimately just have insight and a digital, data-driven way to manage my budget. So thank you for your time, and have a good day. Bye-bye.